Hey, welcome back to Vintessa Yoga. I want to talk about chaturanga, what it is and what your options are when you're working through it in your flow. So our first option is to skip it, right? So just come to a high plank. A really strong high plank, I think it's fantastic. I love working on my high plank. I rock forward sometimes and back. Option number 2 is from your high plank, you drop your knees down. So you drop your knees down, you bring your shoulders forward, you keep your gaze forward, you keep your chest lifting up, you hug your elbows in, your biceps are hugging against your rib cage. Lower, 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 and hold. Hold is important. People think it's just lowering all the way down to your mat, or lowering and then just shooting off straight into upward facing dog, but then you're missing the chance to develop the strength. So if you try that now, knees down, try it. Knees down first. First have your shoulders stacked over your wrist, then hinge a little forward. Bring your gaze up, lift your chin up, lift your chest up, bend at the elbows, lower to a 90-degree angle, and then push up. Finally, the full expression of chaturanga, the one that's really difficult, the one that requires a lot of upper body strength, and the one that also results in a lot of strain and injury in the shoulders and the neck and the low back. So you want to make sure that you're ready for it, and you want to make sure that you know what you should be doing and how it should feel. So from your high plank, push your heels back, engage the legs, hinging a little forward, gaze is forward, chest is lifting, you're pushing down into the mat, then you bend your elbows, you lower down until you get to a 90-degree angle. You hold. And then if you wish to push to upward facing dog, that's where you would do it. And then you would push back to downward facing dog. I want to show you what the bad form looks like. So I'm guilty of this myself. Tendency to lift my hips up because that's taking the pressure off my shoulders and my body's telling me, hey, this might feel good. And usually when I notice that I'm starting to do that, I'll realize, okay, I'm fatiguing, my shoulder's fatiguing. I'm going to start doing my high plank now instead of trying to do the chaturanga. But you would see the hips lifting up. It's not correct. You're dumping into the shoulders. Is when your shoulders go lower than your elbows. You don't want that to happen because then you're putting too much pressure on the shoulder joints. And then the other bad form is when you kind of sag down. So that's when you're crunching into the low back. You're sagging down because it's hard. So your body's going, oh, I don't want to do it. It's sagging in. So you want to be lifted in the pelvis, lifted in the hips, but not too high. It's called 4-limbed stick or staff pose because it's straight lines. The only things that are touching the ground are your 2 hands and your 2 feet.